Well, good morning, folks. 34 degrees here on the 10th of April, 2025, out here at the very famous Wolf Lake Fish Hatchery. This is the largest concentrated fish hatchery in the world. And we are going to, at least that's what it's taunted as being. It may change. We'll see what the guide tells us. This is quite a little place. We'll take a look at this from out here on M43, some of the older parts. We'll do that during the tour. I'll be right back. Coming in here from the other end of the parking area, so you can take a look at the facility. There's the viewing pond right back here. They have all kinds of salmon, char in there. They also have some pretty large bottom dwelling fish as well. Sturgeon. Last time I was here, they had some 8-foot sturgeon in there. You can feed them. Here's the interpretive center. The ponds are way down behind the building. And then down here you can see some of the sheds. You can see the tank trucks right there that they fill up with the little fingerlings and so forth, and drive them to the streams and all around, and then deposit them into the streams, the rivers, or directly into the lakes. Inside those buildings are big tank farms filled with millions of fry. I think we're going to be able to see all that here today. All right, over here and get a place to park. I'll be right back. The fish hatchery here was always stopped during elementary school yearly field trip out here, and that's back before they renovated the whole place and so forth. But it was a good time. Tells a little bit about the facility. Shows a map. And there are a lot of snakes back there too, on those dikes that are between the ponds. You walk along through there, and it's really something. Yep, there's the musky ponds right there. Something else. Here's what it used to look like back in the day. Look at the old fireplace there, the end of the building. One of the ponds, so forth. And this is a modern look. Automatic feeders. I think you'll see that. Probably hear them going off. Dispensing the chow. There's your lake sturgeons. There you go. I'll be right back. The last I knew, the facility was free of charge. I think there's a donation box in here, and then you have to pay for the little feed pellets. So you can go out here and drop over into the viewing pond and take a look, see the fish a little closer. Visitor center. I'm going to go in there in just a second. Oh, I was going to make a DNA statement, but are your shoes clean? That's right, invasive species. Well, the last time I was here, they had not finished this really nice trail leading all the way around the pond. You can see the aeration pipe there on the end. Water's being pumped through the pond, and then through that area you're keeping the oxygen levels high here in the pond. In the show pond we have well, let's see. We have Chinook salmon, muskie, lake sturgeon, walleye, northern pike, steelhead, largemouth bass. Well, let's go out here. You see somebody's already been out here today. The water is generally what I like to call ocean. There goes a trout right there. Ocean clear. Get out here a little farther. Take a closer look. Okay, now you can see dozens of trout. All appear to be rainbow. Let's go out here near the end. Okay, you can see one of the sturgeon right on the bottom, a little dark. Daylight you can clearly see them. They hang around this area. There's a muskie right there. Yep, there's a muskie. He's about 2 foot long. The rest of these are rainbow trout. See them out here dancing on the surface a little bit. A little bit better view. Lighter bottom there, you can see the fish. Most of these are about 1 foot long, 1.5 feet, the larger ones. All right, be right back. Over the years, they learned that they were losing millions of fry to hawks and eagles and all kinds of birds of prey. These ponds, these tanks out here were uncovered, and the birds would just come in and feed on them. And you can see back here, it looks like some swans are taking off. They're just landing there in the back pond. Yep, so they're just landing. And it's something else. And they were coming in, the workers are down here, and they were getting dive bombed by these birds of prey coming in. So they decided, okay, we're going to put screens up over the tanks like nuts. And that helped until funds became a more readily available, and they were able to redevelop this whole facility and put it inside of more of a pole barn, kind of an open-sided, screen-sided pole barn. They can remove those panels and open those sides up in the summer so that these things can breathe a little bit. And you can see the larger ponds way in the back. And then of course up here, to keep those birds of prey and the heron and so forth from feeding on the show pond fish, they put a little coyote out here with a little coyote tail on him. Very nicely improved since I was here last. This is going to be really something today. I might even have to make this into 2 parts. We'll see. I'm going inside here right now. Be right back. Oh, by the way, I think it's National Take a Kid Fishing Day. You can take your children out here, and they have professional fishermen all set up here with rods and reels, the little Zubco 101 type things. And you can come out here and catch and release. And boy, do those kids catch the fish out here, and the pictures they get taken holding the little fish and everything, and it's all catch and release. It's really something cool. I've taken my grandson here to do that, and I took my daughter here to do that. Unfortunately, my son had already moved with his mother and her family and so forth out west, and I don't believe that he made this trip ever, but it's a real fun time here. Right back. Another thing that you can take note of here, that they collect the rainwater or the melt off. It goes into these barrels and then into little tubes, I would assume, keeping the garden all nice and watered. All right, let's go in here and see something else that has to do with water. Okay, they have changed plans. There is a school group coming in, and so it's going to be closed until this weekend. But they've allowed me to take a couple of quick pictures here. One of the big sturgeon. That's a good 7 footer. And a couple of beautiful muskies down here. That's really cool. Here it tells about the northern pike and the muskies and everything. And of course their auditorium. Very cool. Let's see if there's a... Yes, it does show the weight and the length and everything. That's 100 and... I can't quite read that, but we'll get it a little bit later. All right, be right back. And here's a couple more. Nice big old Chinook right there. All right, so at least what we can do is take a little outside look here. You can see their oxygen. That's LOX, that's liquid oxygen. It goes inside here and then is pumped into the different rooms. There's the breeding room, and right here is the main buildings in front of us right there. That's where all the eggs are hatched, and I call it the breeding room. It's really something. And then as they progress in size, they move them by the millions over here into the tank farm, into the fish pond, inside internal fish pond. And then you can see right now they have a feed tank, but those are fish actually being pumped up from inside and then down through the top of that tank truck right there. And that is what's going on there. Pretty cool. Be right back. Well, I just got some information and I'm allowed to come down here. These trucks are filling up with salmon, and they're going to be delivered today and stocked into the St. Joe River. And that's what's going on with that. So I can come down here and we walk around the corner here and take a little look. They said the steelhead are down here on the through the viewing window here, and then I absolutely can go down here and take a look. Steelhead heading for the St. Joe. Be right back. Okay, here they are inside. See, there's a worker right over here to the right. Those are the tanks in these buildings. You see them pumping the steelhead right into those tanks. Pretty darn cool. You can see the oxygen tanks here to keep the fish oxygenated. See the gentleman in here monitoring the fill, the pumping. Pretty cool. All these barns are lined up with those indoor ponds that they're growing the fish, feeding them, getting them up to a size where they can be planted successfully. That's really cool. We're going to go back here and take a look at a couple of the exterior ponds. Maybe we can take a quick peek inside here. More of a storage and processing area. Oh, you can smell the fish feed pellets too. All right, let's go back here. There's little natural meadows here. Growing, not mowing. Looks like we have some gulls here. There, a little flock of seagulls. can see the what I believe is the water from the hatchery buildings themselves are being filtered and recycled and whatnot. And I believe that's the discharge right there. And you can see fish jumping here. And you know there's fish in here. Just seen a couple clearing the water a minute ago. And you can see way back here in the heat of the summer how the snakes would just be really cool in their numbers. I went out here one time when I was in high school with a couple of buddies. We're gonna come back here and check it out. And we didn't make it a whole lot further than that curve, about where that is. And there was some water snakes that were laying across the trail. It was narrower than this then. And that was enough of that. Them were 4 foot long. Big around as a baseball bat, almost. That was enough of that. We never came back here. We were told about the blue racers that were back here that would chase staff and so forth. And so, yeah, I know people from Western Michigan University come out here and check out the reptilian life around this place. Some red-winged blackbirds right here. Whole little flock of them there. All right, I think there's some swans back here. We'll take a look. Another viewing pond. I've never known that this was here. We're gonna have to take a look at that too. Be right back. Again, they have the coyotes there, keeping off the slimo. There's some slimo, winter slimo from the pond. It's made its way over here to this bank, just like skimming the top of a swimming pool. Wonder if that's anything related to skimming in Las Vegas. I don't know. I'll be right back. Yeah, there's some swans out there today. Yep. Makes me want to write a little music. I don't know. I keep getting this message in my head that I should write something today musical and name it Swan Lake. Nah. It's probably already been done. Okay, this little pond right here is specifically designed to hold bluegill, green sunfish, they're alerting you to the aquatic invaders. The Invaders! A Quinn Martin production. That was a good series if you could get into things like that. But these are our aquatic invaders. Man, the last time I seen a mouth like that, it had a hook in it. Of course, there's the largemouth bass. Not seeing any fish. Hybrid bluegills. Yeah. They're out there, but I'm going to guarantee you, with the weather conditions, those fish are out here where it's deep. Right back. It's quite a span I have to walk over right there. I don't know. They really did a fine job on this. This is something else. Let's see what this has to say right here. Fishing activities at Wolf Lake have been supported in memory of Jeff Ply, an avid angler and advocate of preserving Michigan's fishing heritage. Well, that's fantastic. Good thing. All right. Thank you. We'll be right back. Walk along here by a single Canada goose. Sometimes you'll see the sentries, they call them, in about all four sides or outside areas of the flock that are eating in a cut cornfield and so forth, and they watch out for danger while the others are feeding. And you hear that the honking. Okay, the sentry starts honking and it alerts the rest of the flock. Some ducks out here too. I'll be right back. Look at this old walkway grown over the decades out there to service that filter pipe, clear it out of things that would get down in there. It's kind of a surface scum collector, if you will. But they have other ways of doing it now, I believe. But right over here appears to be a brand new wellhead. You can hear that electric motor. Brand new pumping house right here. They're pulling the water up out of the ground here and recycling it, some method. All right, we're not going to take the northern route. We're going to go around here, southern route today. Be right back. See, they had to bring the utilities out here too. Yep. Here's again what's left of those little skimmers. Here and there. Shovel full at a time as they were digging this place out. The CWA was in on it from 1933 and so forth, during the Depression, putting men to work. The Tennessee Valley Authority and the CWA and others, and put just millions of men to work that were definitely on the soup line. Here they used 400 workers, built the facility that's up here on the corner we'll see when we leave, and then other parts of the hatchery dug by hand. A lot of it. All right. Back around by those woods, is all the way along there. You can see the little pathway. Some people down there in the corner walking it. That's where I've been told that the mother lode of the reptiles are at. Like they're not along here either, because like I mentioned, we were scared off them here. And that was back in 75, 76. Yep. All right, the wetland down here. Well, right along this trail on the side of this pond, come across a little box here. Please do not disturb. There's a turtle nest right there. All right. There's a little area that they seem to be trying to improve. You can see the little skimmer and so forth. Kind of like a little marsh, half dry. But they put this in. Yeah, that's running some kind of tubing there, that's for sure. Goes on back up into some more areas there. It's one of the older bridges, and I'll guarantee you, when I was in high school, this wasn't here. This was built to replace the one, or whatever was here then. And since then, you can see they've widened this out. Seem to put this through here and here. Maybe it was this wide just to service this little drain here. A little flow under the road. And this has definitely been here at least 30 years. I'm going to call it 25 to 35. Just because I've seen rotted wood before, and treated rotted wood, and how long it lasts. 25 to 35. Let's see what's back here. Well, this is another wellhead, another pumping station that they are in the progress of hooking up. There is another one in the background back here, and I think backing through the woods, another one up there. And then as I turn around this way, there's another one right there. We're going to be going this way. That's a lot of brand new pumps. Here are some raccoon tracks. Get around here and walk them the way that the little critter went. See the little feet right there? Little raccoon tracks. Going on right down into here. Another one of those little drain pipe or level providers. You can see where this was filled up too with water at one time. I'm sure that's what that is. It just collects they collected the flotsam and jetsam off the top, I think. Now there's some words, flotsam and jetsam. It's kind of like projecta and ejecta. When you're working on Civil War battlefields around where craters used to be and so forth, you'll have to learn about things that were blown up in the air and then fell to the ground all around there. And you look around for that, that's called ejecta. Okay, it's been ejected out of the crater from the explosion. And then there's projecta. That's similar, but has to do with something flying at high velocity in one direction, smacking, and then plowing the road as it was for a little width beyond it till it stops. You know, that's the projecta area. When it hit, it projected all those fragments and everything in that manner. A claymore mine could be called into mind. That perfect example of projecta. All right, flotsam and jetsam are things that are found at sea or in space. If there was something that a vessel that was struck for some reason and there was an explosion and it sunk, the rescue or responding vessels would look upon the water for flotsam and jetsam. Anything projected or left floating on the surface. Same thing in space. Something happened in space, that cloud or mass of particles and material and so forth, as it floats through space, would be known as a flotsam field or a jetsam. A lot of people don't know that. I heard that right from Alan Bean, the astronaut, went to the moon himself at a dinner meeting that he was the master of ceremonies at, the guest speaker at the Arizona Biltmore down in Arizona. We were down there in a business meeting, and the last night, the dinner, Alan Bean was the guest. And after I said Alan Bean, the astronaut Bean, and after the meeting, you go up and shake his hand and talk to him, And I asked him, I says, about that. And he said it was absolutely true. It's nautical terms, regardless of what they were, are used in space. You think we could have learned that from watching Star Trek? I'll be right back. Sometimes I get a little mixed up on names. I believe Alan Bean was on Hollywood Squares. I'm lost for the astronaut's first name. I apologize to NASA, but he was a moon astronaut Bean. Got some rabbits up here on the right. Again, any of you that are watching my video here today, if you'd like to respond and leave a comment about what that astronaut's first name was, last name Bean. That's Hassenpfeffer right there. I learned that term from watching Bugs Bunny when I was a child. And when I ended up in West Germany, I actually tasted it. No, they do it quite well. Down south, it would just be called fricassee or rabbit. That right, Granny. All new electric right there, too. Down here by one of their old maintenance barns. There's a little older service back there marked with an 8. And this is all new right here. This doesn't even appear to be connected yet. And over here, we have part of the wetland again. The damned. Well, this is telling how they've dammed this up here. Yes, part of an old stone wall right here. One of these days, if everything works out, I don't know how it ever would, but I'd like to take a trip down to southern Germany and Bavaria and go to Berchtesgaden. Take a look at some of the more historic sites around that neck of the woods. There's a stone wall similar to this one that's there as well. I've seen online. That'll be a whole nother story on a whole nother trip. I'll certainly let you know if that's going to happen. But don't hold your breath. Right back. This area that I'm walking on right here, you can see it's raised at least 20-25 feet from the sheds down here. And then again on the other side down into this little wetland right here, there's one of those overflows. I think those are overflow pipes, and they act as material catchers too. I think those are. This is the dam. We're on top of the dam right here. This is damming everything up from, I guess, over here to flowing down and polluting these ponds down here. I think that's what they're trying to get at. And you can see downhill here it's starting to retain a little water in the greenery. Another one of those, I think those are stand drains. Water gets up so high and then it goes over the edge and through there and drains it down the other side. Keeps it from overflowing or whatnot, I'm pretty sure. Let's see, at one time there was a little cement block treadway going down here. You know, 2,000 years from now, somebody will come and dig this up and they'll go, here's where they worship their God. This was the God of the cement block. Every place we find them, we find civilization and wealth. I can just hear it now. Wait till they find a Glock. Here's an interesting old dead tree. Here's an interesting partly living tree, older than the hills, taller than the mountains, drinking from an old still. That isn't how that goes. Pretty cool back here. I'd put a fake Sasquatch down there in the middle of that thing, but I do not think that they would like that here. I think they'd frown upon that. Okay, we can see one of the school groups is here, and they request that one of the reasons they called this off for the adults today and everything is that these school groups popped up, needed the day to come in, one group after the other, and the school system doesn't want anybody on the premises that hasn't cleared background checks and things like that. And so even though that this is a public place today, if you're not in that group, you're not invited. And so and it's free of charge. There's no charge to go through here. Our tax dollars support this. This is all state funded, of course. Maybe a couple other hands in it, but yep, today we can't be here. Now I sure hope they don't start doing things like that with a public library. But today the kids are coming in, so since you don't have a security clearance, you can't be in here and return your book. You know, I know things are weird out there, but my gosh sakes, you know, here, scan my ID. And plus, with all the weird things going on out there anyways, the last thing I want to do is be around any kiddie land. And I've got a clean record. I know better. I've seen people come into the county jail that just look cross-eyed at somebody, and down the trail they went. Of course, the wrongful conviction was handed out, and the individuals went home. But I thought, my gosh, I can't put myself in any situation like that. I see vloggers out in different parks filming the little kiddies and riding the little kiddie rides, and they don't even have a kid with them. You watch adults pulling their kids to the side, and they won't sit there. They edit that out. But if you watch some of the other videos, you see people pulling their kids to the side. See people complaining to management. Why are these people allowed up in here like that over here in the kiddie land? Taking pictures of our little kids going in and out of the bathroom. What's that all about? You know? Anyways, that's all on YouTube. That's all on whatever's going on with all that. But today, it's Kid Day here, which is really cool. I can't believe anything better. My big old ancient self can just get on the way down the road. We'll come back here another day and walk through those barns. I think you had a good tour though. We can do a better one. And we will. Thanks again for coming with me today. Popping along here on this. Good to get out and stretch your legs. It is in the high 30s out. But we're gonna work with that. The tank trucks have left. They're on their way to the St. Joe River, depositing several 100,000 salmon today. Very cool. Again, see you in the next one. If you like this video, please subscribe and hit that notification button. I sure appreciate it. Stay safe out there.